So, back under the diesel Jeep, while changing the transmission and putting our fancy Cummins diesel engine in, we noticed a problem. Notice one of these is not like the other. And it doesn't matter how much I screw it, it does not tighten up. These were pretty rusty. I actually anti-seized them when I put them back in because I was like, you know, if I don't, I will never get them back out. I was highly surprised they all came out. But we have definitely busted a nutsert. So, now, this is another catch too. Even though there's a little bit, there's a little bit of surface rust on this frame, it is not rusted through. So, if you have a rusted through frame, that's a little bit different. But what I'm going to do, hopefully, sorry, I'm old and I'm laying on the ground. I got these off of Amazon. These are OEM nutserts and some OEM bolts. And what I hope to do, hopefully, is, let me get back down. Sorry for the light. Cut this guy off, probably with a grinder, and then push him back through. He's just gonna live forever and ever in there. And then see what I gotta do to get it cleaned out, and then I'm gonna get a nut and a bolt, or excuse me, a bolt and some washers, and we're gonna put a new nutsert in. Let's see how it goes. First thing, we're going to have to drop at least this side of the skid plate. I am going to put a jack and a jack stand under my transmission. I don't think we have to drop the whole thing. My jack is also already loose. Or excuse me, my transmission is also already loose. It is not bolted in the center. So you would have to take those nuts out, but you're probably not going to see that from me here. Okay? Let's see what happens. So I have my jack stand and my jack and my light, and I loosened up the bolts on that side. Took this front one out. I'll probably should. I left this one in. I'll probably screw that front one in just a few threads anyway. But my point was to get some tension on this bolt to hold it still. And there's a bunch of different ways you could have cut this off. It is recessed up into the skid plate, so I didn't want to use a torch because I was afraid that if I used a torch I would just end up cutting the skid plate up. I do have a plasma, but I don't think the arc's going to reach it. Again, this is stuck. It's threaded into the nut on the other side a little bit, so like I can't loosen this without cutting a hole in the frame to get a wrench on it or something. So what I honestly think I'm going to do right now is I got some pretty good Sawzall blades and a Sawzall, and I'm just going to try to cut through it, and that's why I put tension on it so it doesn't just sit there and spin as the saw goes. So let's see how that works out. Oh, and that strap, I just used it to align the transmission. It's not actually holding anything right now. It just, I'm lazy, and it's a lot of work. Alright, so let that be a lesson. I don't care what brand of Sawzall you get, invest in good blades. But yeah, let's slice right through that sucker. Alright, let's see if we get a little bit of drop here. I could just take the whole pan out, that's still an option, but if I get enough out of here to do what I think I need to do. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We got plenty of room. And that little bit of the bolt is going to be in there forever. Huh. Well, wonders never cease. Now I know why I broke that off. Somebody did the weld the nut, the washer on trick, and evidently they didn't weld so good. So all I gotta do is get a grinder, knock those 2 welds off. I got kind of lucky there. Actually, I might even be able to just get a chisel in there and knock it right off. So let's see how that works out. A little hot in the belly. It was a little better of a welder than they let on, huh? Arm's getting tired. All right. Right. Of course, the hole in the frame ain't the right size because it's still got the nut stud in it. actually worked pretty good. It wasn't so freaking hard. I do the rest of them. But there's nothing really wrong with the rest of them. They just look like shit. Alright, let's see what I can come up with to tighten this puppy up. So what drives me nuts about working on this stuff is half of it's metric and the other half is standard. But a lot of anti-seize on the bolt. I'm going to run my nut down. Now I'm going to screw it into my nutsert. And then with the help of a breaker bar and a wrench, we're going to torque this puppy down. And by the way, I did not realize until I got to the hardware store that this is a half 13 bolt, of which I probably have 9,752. But because the old guy at the hardware store was so nice in helping me, I couldn't not leave with it. So there it started. Alright. Alright. Oh, that went very, very easily. I am actually just absolutely tickled to death with how good that went. Now, just for sakes, I don't know, a little bit of a bolt and a tap through all these. I am going to change all the bolts, and I am going to give it a quick coat of Rust-Oleum or Trimclad, depending on what country you're in right now. But yeah, very, very happy with that. And yep, we're gonna clean up these holes. But anyway, I'm gonna take these 3 bolts, okay, we'll put a little bit of this on them. Dab, 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 dab. Alright, I'm going to, come on, sit down here. And what I'm planning on doing is I'm going to push up. You see these 3 holes? 1, 2, 3? Yeah. And those bolts go into these 3 holes. I had to repair this one, it broke. I had to cut a bolt off. We're going to put all brand new bolts and nuts in it, okay? So while I lift up, there you go. Should be able to just screw a bolt in. Or maybe I can just screw a bolt in. Can you hand me a bolt? Okay, give me another one. This actually worked out a lot better than I thought it would. Alright, so we're gonna, just because I can, and it'll make me feel better, we're gonna do the other side too. Okay?
I'll give you the bolts.
Yeah, I guess we'll do it that way. But we're gonna leave these loose. We'll put a little paint on it and tighten them up, and then tighten these up. Same thing, flip flop, side side.
Switch, swap. Get caught.
Watch you don't get any paint on your good clothes. Alright, so still with wet paint. I got sidetracked into some other stuff, but yeah, there we go. New half 13 bolts on the frame with the new nutsert, and torqued right up. And I seized a little bit of everything. We'll keep an eye on it. I will touch up some more painting as we go. Not gonna get too carried away though. This sucker might get a long arm kit and other stuff. I don't know. We don't know. I don't know how far we're gonna take this one. Got to keep in mind what it is. You know what I mean? All right. Good night, and that's it.